Hello, my name is Marcello. Welcome to the Source Audio Video Design Group's YouTube channel. Today we will look at the newest contender in the Sennheiser 600 series headphones, the HD660S2 versus the legendary HD650 headphones. This was a video many of you asked for, and we are happy to share my thoughts on the two headphones and who each headphone might be a better fit for. This video will primarily discuss my impressions of the headphones regarding build quality, comfort, design, and sound quality. Sennheiser headphones, especially the HD600 and HD650, have likely been in the homes of more audiophiles, audio enthusiasts, and music lovers worldwide than any other audiophile headphones. We already created a video on how the 650 compares to the 600 and the original 660S, and we will link that video on the end screen of this video along with our video featuring the new 660S2 and how it compared to the original 660S. After those videos came out, several of our viewers wanted to know our thoughts on how the 650 compared to the 660S2. Naturally, I was excited to create this video as Sennheiser headphones were the first headphones that genuinely made me fall in love with headphone listening. So let's start with both headphones' build quality, design, and comfort before we get into my sound impressions. Both headphones are exceptionally well built of hard plastic material with padded headbands and soft ear pads. The clamping force is pretty close, however, I would say the review pair of HD650 Sennheiser sent me have slightly less clamping force than the 660S2. This could be that the HD650 is slightly more worn in, or there may be marginally less clamp in the build of the HD650 versus the 660S2. Both headphones are comfortable, and the clamping force can be improved by allowing them to stretch a bit through regular use or placing them on a foam block. Both headphones have an impedance of 300 ohms, making them fantastic for use with tube amplifiers. According to Sennheiser, the 660S2 has an SPL of 104 dB with a THD of less than 0.04% and an FR of 8 to 41,500 Hz. The HD650 has an SPL of 103 dB with a THD of less than 0.05% and an FR of 10 Hz to 41,000 Hz. Both are over-ear open-back dynamic headphones weighing around 260 grams and assembled in Sennheiser's Ireland factory. The normal MSRP for the HD660S2 is $599.95 versus the $549.95 asking price of the HD650. The 660S2 includes a 5.9-foot quarter-inch cable with a 6.3mm to 3.5mm adapter and a balanced 4.4mm cable, while the HD650 includes a 9.8-foot long quarter-inch cable with a 6.3mm to 3.5mm adapter. For more tech specs for the headphones, please visit the links in the video description and watch the individual videos on the end screen of this video. As far as looks go, I think they are both decent looking headphones with the matte black and copper accents of the HD660S2 being my preference versus the shiny gray finish of the HD650. However, both headphones look good and this will come down to your personal preference. So let's get right to it. How do they sound compared to each other? For my sound impressions, I used a few different amplifiers and DACs to formulate my take on each of the headphones and how they compare audibly. My reference tube amplifiers for this comparison video are the Wu Audio WA2 OTL amplifier and the Macintosh MHA200 headphone tube amp. My digital analog converters are the Chord Hugo TT2 feeding the MHA200 and the Chord Hugo 2 feeding the WA2 OTL amplifier. My solid-state reference headphone amplifier for this video is my Chord Hugo TT2. I listen via Qobuz and Tidal via Roon to several playlists I use to test gear, and will share some of my thoughts on how the two headphones compare audibly, referencing a couple of the music tracks from my playlists. If you are a measurement lover, there are measurements for both headphones that can be found online, with HeadFi and Jude's measurements being my top choice for zero bias and one of the most accurate rigs for headphone measurements. I enjoy checking out measurements as a reference, but have also learned that measurements don't always translate to what I hear when auditioning speakers or headphones at home. Suppose you can't make it down to our Southern California 10,000 square foot showroom. In that case, I encourage you to listen to any headphones you are considering purchasing yourself to formulate your thoughts and opinions, as we all hear a bit differently and may have different audio rigs, and one person's opinion is just that. For instance, many people love the HD600 based on what many refer to as the most accurate Sennheiser 600 series headphone tuning, which pairs best with the genres of music they most often listen to. They are a great set of headphones for an incredible price, especially when paired with the proper tube amp. However, for my taste, the HD650 was my first love and has remained one of my favorite headphones. I prefer the OG 660S and the new 660S2 over the HD600. While the HD600 sound is more detailed and neutral with greater treble emphasis and air, they also sound thin and less romantic to me than the warmer or darker tuned HD650. This doesn't mean your love for the HD600 or my preference towards the 650 over the 600 is right or wrong, just different, which is why we always encourage you to listen for yourself. I want you to consider me your brother from another mother, a music lover first and foremost, and a passionate movie enthusiast. While I may reference technology, product design, and specifications, I won't likely go down any measurement rabbit holes and leave that to others that enjoy that. I will shoot straight with you on what I hear and why I like something or may prefer something else, and why certain listeners may prefer a particular set of headphones or speakers, and some listeners might prefer something completely different. That said, I will do my best to compare these two headphones so you can get a better idea of differences in their sound and decide if one is a better fit for your personal preferences. One of the first things I noticed when comparing the HD660S2 with the HD650 is the soundstage performance. The 660S2, depending on the song, generally has a subtle improvement and a more nuanced soundstage with slightly better separation, imaging, and layering of instruments, especially when listening on my Chord Hugo TT2. When putting both headphones on tube amps, the stages of both headphones sound more three-dimensional. The soundstage and the overall sound of the HD650 and 660S2 sound intimate, and which headphone sounds more intimate does depend on the track and how it was produced. Listening to The Man in the Long Black Coat by Bob Dylan, the 660S2 presents a bit more warmth and intimacy for Dylan's vocals, whereas the 650 pushes his vocals a bit further back on the stage. So it's not a one-size-fits-all for vocal intimacy and will come down to the song's production. For instance, a song like Wandering by Yoshi Harakawa sounds more intimate on the HD650 versus the 660S2. The mid-range of the 660S2 still sounds fantastic, and the headphones do so well in this regard if you're a mid-range lover like me. However, there are some differences between the HD650 and the 660S2. The 650 presents the mid-range as a bit more forward-sounding with a bit more energy in the upper mid-range, so that guitar strings and some vocals have a bit more definition and edge. Whereas the 660S2 doesn't sound quite as forward in the upper mid-range, displaying strings with a bit more body and some vocals that fall into this range. If you felt the HD650 had too much emphasis in the upper mid-range, you may prefer the 660S2. However, both are highly enjoyable in the mid-range, and this will come down to your personal preferences. Also, I should mention that I listened to the rebadged HD650 headphones from a company we shall not name, and it isn't the exact same sound quality or build as the actual HD650. Listening to the original HD650 headphones compared to the rebadged headphones are the darkest and most laid-back sounding of all the 600 series headphones, with the most intimate and collapsed 3-blob soundstage. So keep this in mind when you see impressions or comparisons online of the 660S2 versus the HD650, and double check to see if the reviewer is using the actual HD650 or the rebadged version, as there are some subtle differences in those two sound signatures. I have all the headphones on hand, so I was able to listen to them and compare. The next big thing I noticed when comparing the two headphones is that the bass of the 660S2 sounds a bit more detailed and nuanced, but doesn't necessarily present more bass quantity or sub-bass rumble than the HD650. Listening to Wandering from Yoshi Harakawa, and both the 660S2 and the HD650 are by no means bass-emphasized headphones. However, the HD650 does present a bit more bass and bass impact to my ears. So although the bass of the 660S2 was improved over the original 660S set of headphones, you shouldn't expect any of the HD600 series headphones to be bass focused. The magic of the 660S2 and the HD650 still resides in their unfatiguing and balanced sound signature, with exceptional mid-range emphasis and overall spectacular vocal and instrument timbre first and foremost. Treble-wise, both headphones are excellent if you value non-fatiguing and slightly pulled back treble. They are close in presentation, with the Sennheiser HD660S2 having a slightly elevated treble response compared to the HD650. The HD660S2 also has marginally better imaging than the HD650, which may enhance some listeners' perception of treble presence. That being said, the difference in treble presence between the two headphones is relatively subtle. Other factors such as your source equipment, amplification, and personal preference can also affect how the headphones sound to an individual listener. Ultimately, listening to both headphones is the best way to determine which headphone has the sound profile and tuning that better suits your preferences. Neither headphones have a bright or overly brilliant treble region. I would still categorize both headphones as reasonably dark in the treble, especially when compared to the HD600 headphones, which, if treble energy, sparkle, and neutrality are characteristics you strive for in your headphones, you will likely still be best served by the HD600 over these two headphones. For my preferences, I am still quite fond of the HD650 and now the HD660S2 sound signature in the treble region of the Sennheiser 600 series headphones, especially when pairing them with more analytical DACs I own, such as my Chord Hugo 2 and Chord Hugo TT2 on Filter 2, directly from both components' headphone amps or feeding the Woo Audio WA2 or Macintosh MHA200 headphone tube amplifiers. Regarding detail reproduction, this is very close between the HD660S2 and the HD650, with both headphones presenting a bit more detail and treble energy than the cheaper rebadged version of the HD650. Timbre-wise, both headphones sound exceptional, and it will come down to your preference, as the HD650 presents a bit more forwardness and edge to string instruments timbre and some vocals when they fall in the upper mid-range. The 660S2 offers a bit more girth and body to those instruments and those vocals in the mid-range. Overall, the 660S2 does sound like the warmer of the two headphones for this reason. However, it doesn't necessarily sound like it has more bass or sub-bass. It does sound a bit more detailed and nuanced in the bass region, and the additional warmth in the mid-range is delightful when paired with some tube amps and more analytical sounding digital analog converters. Speaking of tube amps, as I have said in other videos, there is just something so special about the HD650 and the HD660S2 when paired with tube amplifiers. Their soundstage dimensionality improves. There's a lift in that veil so many audiophiles talk about, allowing the headphones to scale in performance. The mid-range sounds more open, with a glorious and intoxicating sound quality, and the tube amplifiers I listen to help summon the lower-end bass frequencies. The 600 series of headphones from Sennheiser truly scale with better quality amplification and the type of amplification you give them. I am very fond of the sound of OTL headphone tube amplifiers with these headphones. In conclusion, I'm a big fan of both headphones and need to add them permanently to my collection of headphones, and will be keeping an eye out for upcoming sales, as Sennheiser does run great deals throughout the year, so keep an eye on our website so we can pass on those savings to you. Also, don't forget to check the links in the video description to see if they are currently on sale. If you're interested in trading up your old headphones, amplifiers, or other gently used audio gear for a new set of headphones or speakers, check out the links in the video description to our trade-up program, and don't forget we will price match other authorized dealers. We have some cool videos coming this year with new product announcements, so don't forget to subscribe to our channel to stay in the know. From $150 earphones to multi-million-dollar home audio, cinema, and automation systems, TSAV is a hi-fi enthusiast paradise for building the system of your dreams. So let's start the conversations in the video comments on what you think of the legendary HD650 versus the new HD660S2 headphones. Which set of headphones do you prefer more, and why? While you're there, smash that like button for us. Until next time, friends, remember, let the music be your guide.